Oh my goodness, guys. Today has been an incredibly long day, let me tell you. The ATF raided me early this morning. I've been in contact with my lawyer, and I've had ATF agents running all over the place. They've taken all my guns. They took all my silencers. You know, they took this rifle, and they left with it, and then they took my buttstock, and they left with this, and then they left with my ammo quiver, and took all that ammo away, and even my freaking trigger. I've got just a regular old CMC trigger. They took this thing away too. I do not understand what's going on. I've been in contact with my lawyer. My lawyer, he informed me, and I've been listening to his words. He told me, he's like, Pat, don't make a video about this, and don't talk about the guns they took, and don't talk about the NFA items and all the other stuff that they took. He said, don't show the ring footage from your neighbor's camera. You know, it's so crazy how these guys came at 6 a.m. They come flying down the road, and then they realized they were at the wrong address, and they came back, and they made themselves look all kinds of foolish, and it's been an incredible day. So far, what I've been told to do is, if I want to continue to be a YouTuber, not to mention my ATF raid, and to change my name to Pat's Knife Symposium. That's what it's going to be. We're going to talk about knives. No more guns. And even one of the ATF agents, he's such a freaking, I don't know, I guess he's a Jeep guy. He left me a freaking rubber duck. Of course, I've got a copy of my warrant, complete with dog pee on it. They came down, you know, they were trying to kill my dog, but he died 2 August ago, so they were all kinds of disappointed, and I think that's probably a charge that they're facing me with, is the fact they didn't kill my dog. And you know, I'm just like, it was just so funny, you know, especially the ring footage. My cat was sitting on the front porch knowing my dog died 2 Augusts ago, and that the ATF agents aren't going to get any satisfaction. So I guess I might as well just go ahead and start practicing up. I'm going to show you a couple of knives here on Pat's Knife Symposium, and then at the end we're going to show you my dog pee laden search warrant. So let's get into this. What's up, y'all? Some time ago, I purchased a knife from Kraken Tactical. Now, this knife from Kraken Tactical is a solid freaking knife. I'm going to link to his Instagram down below. Now, I've seen some knives here locally. This fella locally, he has this, I guess he buys them off of Alibaba, and he writes on them with a laser, made in USA, and they're not. Now, Kraken Tactical, when I purchased this knife from him, I was sent pictures of this knife in process from the beginning. From the original shaping to the grind to everything, even the custom fitment of the handles. And then, of course, I love Mr. Horsepower. If I can get that to focus. Mr. Horsepower is that woodpecker that was on all the old hot rods. I really like Mr. Horsepower. So when I told John, I was like, man, you got to personalize this thing for me, because Mr. Horsepower goes on everything I think is cool. So now, having purchased this one and very much enjoying it, I've used this thing quite a bit. We'll talk about it here in just a little bit. But now, when I had another one come up, guess what? You're going to jump on the opportunity, because if this one has proven to just be a tank, we're going to grab a second knife. Now, this one right here is a custom Boomslang. This Boomslang is one of 4, and I will throw the specs to that up on the screen. This thing is so cool. Check it out. If you flip it, it's a 180-degree image. Of course, what makes these things really cool, because of the fact that they are custom made, it actually goes beyond that. Let me grab something here. I want to show you the balance of this knife. This is pretty incredible. So I've got just an Allen key, just your run-of-the-mill Allen key. There is nothing special about it. You want to see the balance of that knife? I know that blade looks pretty long, and the G10 handles don't weigh a lot, but dude, that balance is nice. So now here we have both knives in their sheaths. Now the cool thing about it, the knives are completely custom, and the sheaths are completely custom fit as well. So I've got my first one here. This is the mid-size Cami. Now this mid-size Cami, what he did was put a QD on this thing. The cool thing about that quick detach is it's movable. You got 6 spots here. You can move this thing all over. One thing that I like to do with this when I'm being active is actually turn this 90 degrees and have this ride along my belt line. That way I can bend down and all sorts of stuff, and it's not in the way. Of course, we've got some slots here we can move. But now, this is a custom-made Kydex holster, and I really liked it because it had the topographical that looks like the areas that I roam, the areas that I hunt, and the areas that I frequent. But let's look at this one. This is the mid-size Cami. Now, this mid-size Cami, I had originally purchased this one in 2022, and you can see it's got quite a bit of wear. This thing has been inside 2 white-tailed deer. I have cut up several squirrels with it. This thing has done quite a bit, including my last Thanksgiving dinner. I carved a turkey with this thing. So, what's cool about this is the Nitro V steel, and it has the same stonewash finish as the Boomslang. Now, the Boomslang here, this thing is very new. You can see the finish on this is still very dark, still very new. There is a difference there. There is over a year's worth of wear in that. Let me go ahead and zoom in so that you guys can really see this. So, check that out. I really like the way this thing's been lasered. I don't know if you guys can see it at home, but it's got kind of a iridescent look. So there's a little bit of a rainbow look. Now check this out. When you flip the thing, boom, it is a 180 degree. It almost makes me wish that I had 2 of these to put side by side in a display so that the 2 knives showed the full skull. I kind of like that. But the mid-size Cami here, with the most use that I've given this thing, I am really liking it. We've got just a minimal pommel here. There's a place for a lanyard. And of course, these are G10 grips with a layered design there. So we've got 2 layers, this layer of burgundy and then this layer of black. And then what I watched, the cool thing was he started off with a blank that was cut to shape, and then he went in there and then molded this thing. And his hands must be very similar to mine because, dadgummit, if that thing doesn't just fit nice. Right here on the top, it's got a really thick, this spine is very thick, it doesn't push a lot. You've got a pretty aggressive thumb hold there, but it's not too aggressive. You know, this thing, like I said, this thing has gutted a couple of animals. I've had it in there and I've knocked a couple hindquarters off. I've cut a couple of shoulders off and done some work like that. So definitely liking it. Now over here on this side, you can see there are a few scrapes. You see those scrapes, and those are mostly coming from squirrels. You know, when you take a squirrel, you got to kind of knock that elbow off, and you take that elbow and just get right there in the joint and just wham! Crack that thing loose and then go ahead and get to skinning it. So yes, this thing has had some real world use. So, mid-size Cami. Now let's look at our Boomslang. Well, that Boomslang is a little bit bigger. Let's go ahead and zoom back out. So the Boomslang here, I showed you earlier, this thing balances very nicely. You would think this long blade actually wouldn't balance, but he's got that hole. I think he actually put that hole there just to show the balance point of this knife. Of course, this one has got some really nice bolsters. So this one's actually 3-layered. So we got a layer of black, a layer of red, and then we come back to a layer of black. So this has actually been done really nicely. He's got a little bit of a different hardware. You know, these are a rounded head. This is more of a flat head, so they're conical underneath, and that does a really good job of keeping all this sandwiched. We got a hole right here for a lanyard, and this pommel is just a bit more pronounced. You see how that pommel is just a little bit more pronounced than on the mid-size Cami. And again, John's hands must be very similar to mine because daggum if that isn't just perfect. I really like this. So you guys go ahead and check out Kraken Tactical. I'm leaving his email below, and I'm leaving his Instagram so you guys can go watch. And like I said, unlike some of these other knives these other knife companies that are just hawking wares, he has in-process video, pictures, and everything. He can show you where he starts from just a raw base of metal and comes up to a finished product. Of course, he does his own holsters. Really liking these holsters. This holster, I don't know, feels like you could bludgeon Bigfoot with it. So, definitely cool. And we've got some nice retention there. This one has just a little bit more retention, but I'm a little bit more active with this one at the moment. So yeah, very quality knives, guys. Go check them out. So now I told you I would show you what is in the urine-laden warrant. let's go ahead and read this thing. There's several pages here. I guess they got my local judge to sign off on an April Fool's Day joke. There we go. Y'all have a wonderful day. Go ahead and check out Kraken Tactical. I love these knives. His Instagram's below. I've got his contact information for his email below. Y'all have a wonderful day. I love you, and I love my new Boomslang.